Hello and blessings, beautiful souls. Sarava and Ashe to you. How are you today? So today I am doing a witchy tag video. I received an email the other day from a beautiful Aussie YouTuber who said, hey, I've created this amazing little, Southern Witches hashtag and would you like to participate? So this is open to anyone in the Southern Hemisphere actually, or visiting the Southern Hemisphere for that matter. And it's so nice to see because here in the Southern Hemisphere we have a smaller population to that of Northern Hemisphere witches. And so it's not about exclusion, but it's more about celebrating our small community and those who are creating, who are from this, sort of less populated region in the world. And I say less population and a bit tongue-in-cheek because there's lots and lots, lots of people in the Southern Hemisphere. But by comparison, I mean, we know this. It's not a secret. There are way more people in the Northern Hemisphere, and that's a beautiful thing. And most of my friends are up there, so I'd like to get to see all of you eventually. Nevertheless, I'm going to go through this list of 9 questions. I haven't looked at them yet. I received the email from Alice, and what is her channel name? Alice in Tarot, I think it is. Alice in Tarot Land. That's the name of the creator. Sorry about that. All right, so here is the tag questions / prompts. I've got my glasses on for this adventure. Where are you based? Where am I based? I am based in southern Tasmania's Huon Valley. I live here in a tiny, tiny little country town on 28 acres. I am completely off-grid and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Do you identify as witch or by another name? No, I identify as witch. I prefer to use terms like witch or traditional witch or hereditary witch. I use all of them in hashtags on Instagram, for instance, but if I'm just talking, I'm I practice witchcraft, and I don't really need to go beyond that unless a question is asked. What's your belief, worldwide or current paradigm? No, wait, that's not what it says. What's your belief, worldview, or current paradigm? That's a really big question. I believe so many things. I don't think I can answer that actually, because that's a really, really big question. How can I put that? I just can't answer that. I really cannot answer that. When I think about that, what's my current worldview? I can't make that small. I think so many things about my current worldview, particularly in context to witchcraft. I guess right now what I'm looking at is community and respect and respecting fellow witches, and that's just a fraction, 0.00002% of my focus right now. I can't answer that question in any interesting way. Sorry about that. So I'm passing more or less on 3. 4 is, what are your current go-to tools? I use it all. They're all my tools. All of it. It's all my tools. There you go. Have you seen my altar? Anyone here seen my altar? There's a lot on it. I guess the things that I don't use, and I could do this from process of elimination, is I'm not big into staves unless I'm outside and I'm actually walking, on rugged land, and then I'll love to use a staff. I have ones, but I don't tend to use them a lot. Yeah, no, I like it all. I like the candles, I like the crystals, I like the sprays, the oils, I like the statuary, I like the tarot, I like the oracle, I like bones, I like art, I like it all. I like it all. I don't, that's a really hard one. Go-to tools. I like it all. I guess in a minimalist, can I speak today? In a minimalist capacity, tarot cards would be up there. I'd leave the house with crystals, tarot cards, and an oil, and probably a piece of Palo Santo. Palo Santo comes from my neck of the woods, and as such, I have all different types of Palo Santo. I have very nice bought Palo Santo, and then I have Palo Santo straight from the rainforest, which is this stuff here. Gordon bought me that one back. Yes, I do like to use a lot of things, but I guess tarot is pretty much at the forefront. Good tarot deck. Actually, this one here is rocking my world right now. Victorian Romantic, that's a really good one. My own Bonestone deck. Oh gosh, so many tools. We could just talk tools, couldn't we? We could just spend hours talking about tools. Do you cast a circle? If so, what do you associate with the directions? I don't very much cast a circle. I used to cast a circle. In fact, my coven up north was all about circle casting, and we would use native animals that were native to our biosphere. Things like the Ulysses butterfly, or the eel, or the golden silk orb weaver. So we would use very specific creatures that could actively be experienced in your biosphere. And that's the way that I feel it should be done. I'm careful to use the word should, but when you associate the majesty of an animal to a corner, you want to be able to interact with that animal in your biosphere, because that opens up a portal for tremendous amounts of communication. Once you start to use these creatures, in your natural circle castings, the moment you see them, it's a different experience. You're like, wow, you're the totem for my element of earth or air or water or fire. And then you pay more attention. It heightens the appreciation. It opens up that more interactive spirit element. So I'm all for using creatures from your own biosphere. But yeah, I used to, and I don't think I have cast a circle, not physically cast a circle in a year. Pretty much. Do you work with the seasons or the wheel of the year? I definitely work with the seasons, and it's much easier for me to do that now that I live in a temperate climate and I can actively observe the changing of the seasons. But I also work with the wheel, the Neo-Pagan Anglo-Saxon wheel of the year. It is something that was very much a part of my neo-paganist explorations, but I'm more now traditional in the way that I practice my craft. I'm a lot more folk magic. I'm a lot more Brazilian witch folk magic, because that's my heritage. I'm not saying that because that's my long lost heritage. I'm saying that from I was born and raised in Brazil, just in case this is the first time you're ever watching this video. Okay, so, and by the way, I could still do this tag in Brazil because that too is the Southern Hemisphere. So, do you have a consistent daily or regular practice? Absolutely I do. I practice witchcraft every day. I have a daily practice. My daily practice is wide and varied. I've got something for every day. I do something every single day that constitutes an element of my daily practice. For me, variety is the spice of life, and if you do the same thing every single goddamn day, I would go brain numb. And so I like to do this on this day, that on that day, this on that day, and I keep it simple like that. A lot of my daily practice elements are in fact something that I incorporate into my daily grind, my daily chores, the things that I do each and every day. And so that helps me to sustain a healthy and practical daily practice. And then I have those elements that are far more, ritualistic, and that's usually 4 or 5 times a week when I come up here to my cottage and I light every candle and I have a moment to really connect with the sacred. But I've just recently done a video all about daily practice for the beginner witch. So if you're interested in learning about daily practice, cultivating a healthy and practical daily practice, then that video is for you, and it has a little freebie, a little resource with it. What else have I got here? This is question number 8. Are there challenges, blocks you find specific to witching in the Southern Hemisphere? Yes, there is challenges and blocks, and mostly because we have the internet now and I get to see everything that is made in the UK and America, and I want it. I want to go there and have it. I want to play with it. I want to walk into the House of Hoodoo in New Orleans. Have you seen that on Instagram? Jesus. Every time I see an image on Instagram, I just die and I think, oh, why can't I get that here? So yeah, that's it. And for me, it's very commercialist. It's very commercialist, capitalism. I can't find the right word. For me, it's really something that is about the acquisition of amazing things. I should bring it back home, actually. Australia's a really wild place, and I say this from someone who has lived in some very wild locations within Australia. I've lived in, very outback indigenous communities in the Northern Territory. I've lived up on Thursday and Horn Island, up in the outer islands up there. I'm living here in southern Tasmania. I've lived in far north Queensland, and the thing that is the biggest challenge, depending on where you are, it's flies and mosquitoes, leeches for sure, if you're outdoor and you're witching. It's, you know, it could be cyclones, weather events. Down here we had bushfires. We have jack jumper ants and tiger snakes down here, and many a critter that can really like cause some damage. And so the nature down here, it's anything but passive. And I'm not saying that nature in any part of the world is necessarily passive, but we have a lot, I don't know if you know this, we have a lot of poisonous animals down here, a lot of aggressive creatures. And I use that term very loosely. Creatures aren't by nature naturally aggressive until it's a certain time of the year. Take for instance, you know, mating season. That makes some creatures really aggressive, and you have to be very careful if you're witching outside. And it's so nice to be able to participate in all this amazing nature that Australia has. We have such an incredible landscape down here, like old growth forests, for instance, down my neck of the woods, you know, beautiful old trees, moss and boulders. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can find fossils and rocks down here. It's incredible, but you really have to be careful where you step. And that kind of heightens the stress when you go outside. And I use the word stress loosely as well, but you have to be constantly on alert. So yeah, bringing it back home, we have, I mean, Aussie witches are courageous to step outside of their house. Let's just put it that way. Okay, are there any Southern Hemisphere resources, books, blogs, YouTubers you would recommend? Yes, there are. Yes, there are. There's lots. I am a big fan of Fiona Horn. Sherilyn Darcy does some really nice stuff on plant, flower medicine as well. There is Rockpool Publishing, actually, is an Australian-based publisher of Mind, Body, Spirit books and also like great oracle decks. And so I do like to support them there. And I also like to support Blue Angel creation. So Blue Angel does a lot of really wonderful oracle decks. The Lumina Tarot is made by an Australian woman, printed in Australia as well. This is Lauren Aletta, and beautiful Australian made. Fiona Horn's making a comeback at the moment. She's released an oracle deck that looks amazing, which I just ordered the other day, and a new book. And she was actually my first point of contact in Australia at a very young age with modern Australian witchcraft. And I found her book Witch, A Personal Journey or something like that, the one with the black cover, and she's sitting there looking amazing. And it was just absolutely just life-changing to read that. Witchcraft from a totally different perspective, from an Australian perspective. It was really welcoming, and I remember how I came across that book. It was at a psychic expo in Mackay, and I was recently talking about this in my Respect Fellow Witches videos, where I was sitting and, you know, I was walking around a table that was piled with books, and women were coming up to me and recommending me this book and that was one of the books that was recommended to me, and that sort of opened up a whole new world for, you know, that type of metaphysical material. So it was, for me, that was the beautiful Fiona Horn. Now there are so many other Australian creators and YouTubers. There is Elder Crow, who's a wonderful YouTuber. He comes on and off from YouTube. He has his business Earthly Alchemy, which does the Witch's Chest, and they do, you know, some beautiful markets in Melbourne. There's Crimson Fire, who runs the Eternal Flame Coven in the Melbourne region there as well. She has a YouTube channel also. There is Lee, I've forgotten her last name now. Lee, she used to go by Chaos Witch, I believe. Once upon a time a blogger. She's here on YouTube as well. I'll leave the link to her channel below. There's Avalon Green, a beautiful friend who likes to disappear from YouTube from time to time. I'm sure we're all, you know, crossing our fingers, hoping that she will return soon. There is also, I'm undoubtedly going to leave people out. There is Pandora Lacora, and she is based in Queensland. Katie Flowers is based somewhere around Melbourne region. There is Fairy Sarah, who I met when I was in Melbourne the last time. Incredible. These all have YouTube channels. Rachel the Love Witch, very small channel. I'm about to do a shout out video after this one, and she will undoubtedly be on that. So there's heaps. And then of course Alice in Tarotland, which the person that created this tag, I mean, she deserves a little shout out as well. So yeah, there's so many beautiful resources. There's heaps of shops like Elfheim, I can never pronounce it, for your magical goods, the Esoteric Bookstore, Juniper Moon Apothecary. I mean, I love Juniper Moon's oils. If I'm gonna recommend oils to you, just like these. These are amazing oils. They're amazing. So she's really, really quite incredible. And there's so many, because I didn't make a list and I'm just reading this off my phone in a surprised sort of a fashion. I probably could have done a better job if I had actually scripted this. Anyway, there's a lot of beautiful creators that I happen to touch base with, and my beautiful friend Alora Rain, who is American but is currently in WA with her partner. I guess she constitutes. I'm pestering her to upload videos, but there are so many incredible creators, and I think it's really important. I also run the Australian Witchcraft Facebook group specifically for Australian witchcraft, and I'm pretty intense over there. I want it to be all about Australian witches. I will not let an international meme in unless there's a really bloody good reason. Like, we like to keep it really Australian down there to give a space for Australia's magic, because there's so many amazing, Facebook groups out there and beautiful channels, but we need a place that is specifically for the Australian witch amongst all of those incredible, pages. And that's what I aimed to achieve. So that's there, and that's going strong. So there you have it. That was the very last question, and that was the, oh gosh, now you're doing that. Thanks so much. And that was the, yes, Witches Down South YouTube tag. Witches Down South YouTube tag. Got it. All right. So I will leave the questions, I believe, in the description box of this video. If you are a witch down south, then do this one. Absolutely do this one. I could tag Alora Rain, but I owe her a tag because she tagged me in something and I did not do that tag. So I would tag Rachel the Love Witch or Fairy Sarah if she hasn't done it already. So there you have it, beautiful souls. Look after yourselves. Thank you so much for watching this one. I hope it was entertaining at the very least. I'm not great with tags, so I do apologize. Nevertheless, I'll be seeing you in my next video. Much love, many blessings. Mwah.